Welcome to Pep Talks with Eric, where we shift gears from negative feedback loops and drive towards the life we truly want. I'm your host, Eric Ayers. I believe in the power of Ubuntu. I am because we are. Together, we'll explore how connections fuel our growth and create amazing experiences. In this podcast, we'll tune out the noise of the world and tune into what we really want and what really matters. Guys, welcome back. All right, let's dive back into this conversation. So we talked a little bit about, the loneliness and the disconnection, how it flows into everyone around us. So ultimately, I do want to highlight something that kind of came to mind. As a society, we tend to think about issues and problems as being right in front of us. It's the problem, like, oh, we have a leadership problem. But we very seldom look back and say, well, where is the seed of this generated from that we can change to come forward? So ultimately, through what we discussed, if I heard this correctly, we could simply, and I say simply because it's simple, but it's very profound and very difficult at the same time, shift and fill our own buckets as leadership, fill our own vessel. And ultimately that carries over to everyone else. And then we have a different leadership model. Does that resonate?
I would say 100%.
Okay.
I say that's exactly what, when what happens so many times when people reach these positions of celebrity or leadership or wherever it's at, where they have a following, people they're responsible for, an element of fear comes in. What if I let them down? What if I'm not good enough? As strange as that sounds, it does happen so many times. Anxious. Their jobs rely on me. Everything relies on me. The pressure's on me. And then it goes outward. What can I make them do so that some of the pressure goes on them? Okay. And that's where the models broke. And then that's when the kind of negative stuff rolls downhill, like you hear sometimes. Okay.
For sure.
Where if they're working on thriving rather than just surviving, and their cup is full. And then, like you mentioned earlier, the overflow can go outward to their, the people that their fans or their employees or whatever. So it's a matter of realizing the amazingness in you and operating out of fulfillment, not out of fear. Then that flows downward and it fixes everything. So operating out of fulfillment rather than fear fixes everything. And it's a process that, that works. We have lots of experience with it, Mick and I. You see it, you see the growth, you see it works, you see it flow, and when it connects. Now, do those insecurities still come up with of course they're human. And that's where, with the system of the check-ins, or when that insecurity comes up, you text me and I'll send you a resource, or if we need to, you text us, because with the text come to us, we'll send you resources. If we need to, we'll set up an appointment to talk, but you're not going through a secretary or a third person. We're getting there. We're getting to you. So we keep that momentum, because people are going to have setbacks, but the system is, we can get you in 2 weeks. Okay. 3 weeks, which then it started to build. It started to get worse. It started to blame. It started to see, they're the problem. The system's the problem. Instead of, hey, you know what? This is just a little thing. Let's work through it. And then once again, that flow is going to start.
So your cup, go ahead. So go ahead, Eric.
No, I love that the fulfillment overflow actually creates in the people around them to be seen, heard, and valued. Like the basic human connection from the leader's overflow. How powerful is that? So yeah, go ahead, Mick.
Well, I think there's also, a sense of a balance. Everybody is different. And so last, we talked about in the last episode, we brought up Robin Williams. And so, his fame came so quickly that it affected, along with his own challenges that he had personally, that, were things that he was battling and doing fantastic work with. that when fame or success for whoever it is comes so quickly at times, or as it grows, we're caught up in the flow of that, to the point where sometimes it can be overwhelming. That person's not necessarily ready, if there is such a thing, for
Yeah.
that, and then how to deal with that. So it affects relationships. It affects, their health. It can affect, something that they're using to combat that, like, alcohol or drugs, or any of that. So, or addictions of all sorts. And so when someone, is not necessarily prepared, and I don't know who is, for that kind of success,
Yeah.
they may handle it differently. While there's others, I have a very dear friend who changes things, has made differences in this world um, that have had positive effects that don't make the news, is my buddy Alf Bingham. And Alf, here's a guy that really knows who he is, where he is, and his success is amazing, has come through the connections that he has made with some of the most people that vibrate at levels I don't even understand.
Yeah.
But but he's always been grounded. He's always stayed who he is. He could, be traveling the world in that business suit, but when he wants to download, he's on a Harley Davidson traveling across the country. But in contrast to that, others, so many people, when that success comes, and again, God bless Robin, but was that, it can be overwhelming, and suddenly you don't even know who you are in that moment. You're in such demand. You're being pulled in so many directions, and that success can come as a professional athlete. You go from being a kid to now, you're still a kid, but now you're being paid millions and millions of dollars. So much is riding on you. It can be overwhelming. You look to Simone Biles and her making, mental wellness cool, because she stood up for herself, right? And she did, and she came out and said, "Hey, I'm in the world knows me, so I'm going to say, here's what I'm dealing with." And she overcame some pretty strong things. So yeah, at the end of the day, I think that it affects people differently, and oftentimes there's just not somebody there to help make sense of it, balance it, and keep them in the flow.
And I think that's what at Mind Health Concierge, we're trying to give them that safe spot where we can grow together, so they can have that confidence to make, because that's a courageous choice that
For sure.
Simone made. And I am guessing there must have been some pretty good foundation there, I think, of support. And that's really what we want to help people to realize it's okay. And like, we're going to, while we're going through this process, we got you. Okay. This is a journey we're going on together. You're not alone. And we're not doing this for any other reason other than this is what we kind of feel like we're called for.
Yeah.
And we have the skill set to do it. And this is where we've been placed at this point in time to help us help you, is really what we want.
For sure. I love that, because I think fear is overlooked a lot of times. So, people are like, "Oh, they're so courageous. They, how do they not have fear?" No, they're not courageous because they don't have fear. They're courageous because they were presented with fear, and they had the fortitude and the self-acknowledgement to say, "I'm taking a step forward into courageousness, into courage." So fear is huge. And it's like, it was explained to me this way, is you cannot go inward and work on self when you're being chased by a tiger. Like, your body's like, "Nope, you're about to get eaten. I'm going to keep you alive." We can't go
Right.
inward until the threat is gone. So why would that be any different for everything that we do? So I'm so glad you brought up safety, because safety is what I think anchors the coaching and the therapy side together, because it has to be safe, and it has to be like, hey, we can ebb and flow into the coaching, the therapy, like lean on Dustin, lean on Mick as the experts to say, "I'm going to bring you what you're showing that you need." And that's what I've gathered from speaking with you guys in terms of, this is a safe space to explore. And through this exploration, I'm going to be your guide to help you go inward and provide you with the necessary tools.
And sorry to interrupt, but
No,
you
go
just
for
hit
it.
on
Go
something
for
that
it.
I really want to
Please.
emphasize, that with our model is unique. And so many times the system has been set up, even with people that have money. If you have the insurance, it's like, my insurance will only cover these 2 appointments, so I'm not going to go in. It's just a natural way of thinking. But with the membership model and with the continual engagement model, okay, when they need us, we're there. There's those weekly check-ins, and that's how you gain that safety, is through the experience. I mean, how many times in the traditional model, it's scary to face a lot of things you face in that office.
Yeah.
That when people are sharing themselves and all the pain they've been through and everything, and then they say, oh, well, I can get you scheduled in a month and a half, or maybe you can come in for 30 minutes in 2 weeks.
Right.
That's scary, that I put all this out here and now I have to hold on to this by myself and for a whole nother month.
Yeah.
Where our model, that we have that accessibility and availability to actually help people thrive, to actually get through a safe spot to grow, a safe spot for that flow to start again. We're the pump, right? Like, let's
Yeah.
get that flow that goes outward to start again.
Sure.
And in a model that is accessible, so you don't have to be afraid, because
And remove the stigma.
system, yes.
The coaching piece allows us to come in, remove the stigma. You're not some, come in and we make some assessment, and you don't have to feel labeled, because that's not the approach. The approach is, let's get to know you, and let's go from that perspective. If along the way there are things that that are noted that individual needs help with, that may be a little deeper than what they knew, and we can work on that together as a team, all of us.
Yeah.
Then we can approach that, and whether it's through some help with medication at times, absolutely. There's medications that make a huge difference, and then there's medications that come with that effect that we're taking one, so we think it's making a difference, and then some medications don't make a good difference. They have side effects. So if we can determine that and work as a team, and that can be a part of, a Band-Aid, if you will, for now. What we're really trying to do is get that person to be whole again, and achieve what they need to achieve for themselves, fill their cup up, so that they can continue to do what they do and grow.
And Mick, you just hit on something that I just have to say is the diagnosis piece. Like, with our clients, since we're going to coaching first, since this is a different step, we really view our clients as teammates rather than a diagnosis. I think so many times what happens, unfortunately, with the way the system's set up, is the client starts to be looked at, or the patient feels like they're looked at. I don't think a lot of providers do this, but they feel like they're looked at as a diagnosis rather than a teammate, rather than somebody that we're all going on this journey together to get this win for you. So.
Well, that's like working in a hospital. When you start disconnecting from the humanity of it, you start finding yourself saying things like, oh, I'm going to go take care of the diabetic in 211. So,
right, yes.
But no, I just took their humanity away from them, and I disconnected myself simply in referring to them by the diagnosis. So, beautiful point there. I love the coaching aspect of it, because to me, coaching is about empowering. It is about empowering someone to tap into their purpose. And so let's bring back that loneliness topic that we were on earlier. Like, how much of this do you think someone works their tail off to maybe prove to themselves, to someone else, to whoever, like, I can do this, I can make it to the top, and they get to the top and realize, I still feel the same as I did when I started. So do you
not only
go ahead.
Yeah, not only that, is I still got to the top. I feel like I did when I started, and did I earn it? I don't know with our clients how much, and Mick can attest to this too, how much we hear, do I belong here? Is it going to go away? What if I don't give 90 hours a week, I'm going to lose this position. And how many times we have to reiterate, look where you are, look what you've done. This is you.
Yeah.
This is you. They want you. They don't want your hours. They don't want your, this is you, and so many people that have rise, there's different elements of clients that, some have come into it naturally with their family, and everybody has their own experiences like Miss Mick mentioned earlier. But the people that I've seen that have rise, that have given, kind of similar, and I can kind of connect with this a lot of times because like I said, from the trailers in the mountain of Washington to Mayo, or well, to the one of the highest ranked facilities in the Midwest,
Yeah.
like, to doing that. Okay, there could be, not anymore. I've overcome that, baby. Okay. I love what I've become. I've learned to process through my power potential, not my pain, but I can connect with the people that get there and then go,
Yes.
was this luck? How many of these successful people still think it's going away and was this luck? And no, it's you. And so to resonate, it's that imposter syndrome, they call it. I'm not a big believer in it. I think all of us will question whether we deserve it or not till we've trained our brain. I mean, the brain functions to keep us alive. It functions in fight or flight. We're always going to identify those insecurities that then makes us go, am I worthy of this?
Yeah.
I really think that that's where that comes from. But when we've had to rise up and we've been poor or been in a scenario where we feel like no one we knew was in that spot, we have to learn to accept it and go, I belong here and I worked here. And a lot of people do, but this is my spot and it's not going anywhere. And I can go and do anything else because I'm resilient and because of what I've been through.
It's keeping that achievement that they've done. It's keeping it tied to their purpose and what got them started in it. And that kind of success often gets away from it because, when we start out, just like we're doing here with Mind Health Concierge, we have a purpose in mind, and it's keeping to that. But it's tough for people who achieve at such a high degree as to what got them there, the fundamentals of that. And if that gets lost, it's sometimes just as easy as helping bring that back to center.
Yeah.
And doing that, individual is reminded of that purpose. It's a growing purpose, but that fire that started this whole process, they
Yes.
reconnect with that, and the sky's the limit.
Oh
Yeah, that's brilliant. And so the analogy that comes to mind is Louise Hay, beautiful human being, would speak often about those who win the lottery. If they were in poverty and then won the lottery, chances are within 2 years, they're back where they were before, because there wasn't a change in consciousness. There wasn't a change in their mindset. So likewise, if those rapid success stories, like, there hasn't been time or intention, I will say intention, there hasn't been intention placed on shifting the mindset to match where they are. So it feels like a disconnect. And almost like, to your point, Dustin, about imposter syndrome, imposter literally means doing something that you normally don't do, or you've never done. Well, if you're trying something new or doing something, of course you're going to be imposter syndrome, right? So like, what would happen instead of seeing imposter syndrome and being like, oh my God, I'm not worthy of this, to saying, I'm onto something. I'm trying something new.
Yes.
Come on,
That's it.
fear. Let's dance.
Yes.
Like, let's tango and
That's
let's
it.
figure this out, right?
I love it. Yes. No, it's so true. So true.
And then you're able to breathe. And then it's like, whew, cool, man. My adrenals are chilled now. I don't have this cortisol release, and I'm not like, oh my
Right.
God. I'm like, ooh, I'm trying something new, and it might fail, and that's okay. It could be amazing, and I could come out better for it. But either way, I'm going to come out better for it. But yeah,
We are nothing. There's no success that has not gotten there, or no true success without multiple failures to get there. And
Oh, yeah.
and that's, those, and that's another part of Dustin and I working with somebody who is balancing family. She may be having challenges in her personal life in some ways, and then maybe right at that time a transition and that person's career comes along, and so suddenly they are feeling that disconnect. But it is really being able to set, helping that person center back in on who they are. Dustin does this very well.
That's awesome. That's
We
awesome.
both, we're a team, man. Like, no, honestly. And
Yeah.
with so much of that though, with the unique experiences of the business and the entrepreneurship and the wisdom, and then kind of my psychiatry, Mick and I are a great team, and he just kind of gave the one of the analysis of one of our success stories. I know you did ask for a kind of a scenario, and
Yeah.
that did happen, and we have a client who all those things that you described, plus they had lost their job, and high ranking person at a healthcare system, and all of a sudden job's gone, and it was random, which has been happening a lot, years of experience, and that creeps in. Will I ever find another? What? And then Mick and I just going at it, and are you kidding? Like, look at your resume, look at who you are. Like,
Right.
and as we build this together, as we go on the journey with the person, as we help give them that safety and that security without, with privacy and respecting their, respecting all things to keep, their information, personalized and to them, and just, but bringing it back and having somebody to sound it off and say, you got this. Like, this is, this was a random thing. You know how business is, and, but supporting them and watching that growth, and then seeing them actually land an amazing, another job, and do great and get great feedback in interviews. And it's like, this is you.
Getting them, helping them realign to their purpose, really. And, that, and again, some people will be, I need to get back on track. I've lost my income. It's also that, and you've talked to us about this, Eric. I love it, that purposeful success. And so you want to still be able to enjoy that ride in what you're getting yourself back into. And that kind of comes down to mindset. And so our minds, all of us, our minds can be overwhelmed, and we have too much, input coming in. And we're in that fight or flight scenario, as you talked about, Eric. And so, it's really being able to help people through connection, and through sometimes assignments that we give them to kind of remind themselves, bring them back to center, but to get that mindset back to those purposeful goals. Then they go, and suddenly hey, this worked out. This is what I wanted to do anyway. With loss comes success. Had I not lost my first gym in San Mateo, California, that I had with my brother, the door would have never opened. I would have met Mark Mastrove, and we would had opportunity to work together with these, and 24 would have still been there. But it was with my loss that came this opportunity and for growth and success. And boy, that's happened time and time again.
I love that. I love that. And that's tapping into our child innate understanding of the world, right? Because I remember, as a kid learning to do anything, or being like, oh, I love this. And all of a sudden, no, I don't, or breaking something or whatever. And it was never like, oh my God, I cannot believe I messed up on this. No, it's like, my Legos broke. I'm going to go play with Star Wars, like whatever the case may be.
Yes.
And it's like using opportunities to move forward. And somehow, I don't know, we forget that. And I love that the coaching gives permission for people to tap back into their essence.
Yes.
And like, that's why I'm super stoked for what you guys are doing. So as we begin to close this down a little bit, I would love to hear the greatest tool that you could recommend to someone that has been life-changing for you. Any tool, book, podcasts, video, like, it doesn't matter. Just something that completely shifted the way that you saw the world, that someone can take in right now and be like, wait a minute, this is shifting my mindset.
So I got a couple. First of all, one that people hate. Okay, when people are struggling, one of the first things I'll have them do is make a list of 50 amazing things about themselves that only have to do with them. Not how they serve others, not how they take care of others, not that they have a wonderful dog or a wonderful husband, or no, about you. 50 things that are special about you. Okay. And to me, that starts the brain training process. I like to stop. You have to focus on your power and your potential. Focus on those good things.
Love
When negativity comes up, you bring that list. You have that list on your phone and you pop it up. You start looking at those beautiful things. 21 to 30 days of doing that, your brain's going to change. It's going to go out of the fight or flight into the thrive and, thrive rather than just survive. Okay. And you're going to start seeing the beautiful things. That's a tool that's a secret. That's a gimme for
awesome.
for our thing. The
I
other
love
thing
it.
is there is a book called The Happiness Trap by Dr. Russ Harris. It's about acceptance and commitment therapy, but it is the most, it changed my life. It's one of the most amazing books out there. He's got free videos on YouTube too. There's he's a great resource. So The Happiness Trap, Dr. Russ Harris, and then 50 amazing things about you. Though, know that you're going to be angry at first. Everybody at first is like,
Of course.
50,
Of course. I love that. Thank you for that. What about you, Mick?
Nice. Yeah, there's been a number of things through the years. So I'll just kind of take it away from just any one thing. I'll say that some experience I had years ago with positive psychology and teaching programs with that. Positive psychology itself is something worth someone investing into in those times to take away some of the remarkable lessons that are learned from that, from a standpoint of reframing your thinking. And then I would just say this, there's so many good books. In fact, Eric, you're the one to be able to transfer a lot of the good reads that are out there, and it obviously pays off because of your energy and your mindset now. It's fantastic. It's amazing, as we've said. I think being able to people get caught up in the moment, and that's natural. We all do it. Being able to, look at what's taken you to this point, being able to understand that, again, like we talked about a minute ago, with failure comes the best lessons and doors open. And if doors don't close, it's sometimes tough for us to see the next door that's opening. And whether it's relationships or whether you're dealing with spirituality issues or career pieces, whatever it is, we have to be able to, some people journal to get that done. Others, just need to find some mindfulness and be able to, I know that, a lot of people with mindfulness, what is that? Well, it's really being able to get out of that fight or flight mode and be able to recognize that through what I've done, through connecting and making positive relationships, putting good stuff back into this world, that does come back. It does. However you look at it, if somebody can take that step back, they can be refreshed and find that maybe they almost missed where they wanted to go, and that door's right there in front of them.
I love that. So thank you so much for the opportunity to have this conversation. This is life-giving, true Ubuntu spirit, man. I love this. I am because we are. I love it. If someone wants to find you, if people want to find you, where's the best place to find you?
www.mindhealthconcierge.com. www.mindhealthconcierge.com. Just concierge, no S. It sounds like it because concierge is the appropriate pronunciation, but I kind of emphasize the other because so many times people will put an S in there.
And you can reach out on LinkedIn as well.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Both of us are on LinkedIn
and
yep.
I will have all of these links in the description, so that'll make it easy to find.
Guys, you're our hero, Eric. You're a star.
You are, dude. You are our superhero.
Whoever's listening to you, keep listening because you're gonna grow and impact a lot of people. And it's always fun to be able to say, yeah, I was there when Eric was just getting started. Keep going, man. Thank you for having us on with you, and we look forward to any future opportunities to share time together.
Well, I appreciate the words, and I truly am because we are. And tapping into this Ubuntu spirit, like Dustin, that 50 questions, There's an Ubuntu story of leadership, of in the cultures, if someone messes up, oh, I love this. If someone messes up, they're brought and when we mess up, we beat ourselves up. We're already beating ourselves up more than anyone can. They're
Of
brought
course.
into the middle of the group. The group surrounds them, and the group tells them how amazing they are, what they bring value to the culture or to the organization, if we put this into our Western society. And they spend as much time as they need until that person feels the value that they bring around. Well, that's what that 50 question does from an internal like self, is I'm identifying my true power, my purpose, the things that ignite me. So dude, thank you for sharing that. That is absolutely beautiful. So
It's powerful too. If people
Yeah.
put it to work, it's so powerful.
yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Guys, thank you so much.
All right. Thank
This
you,
is-
Eric.
It's
This has
been an honor.
Incredible. This has been incredible. All right, guys, if you have enjoyed this, please reach out. If this resonates with you, if you need help, if you want to talk, if you have questions, reach out. Find their link in the description. Reach out to me. Let's connect and let's bring this disconnection. Let's heal this disconnection with connecting. I mean, that's what we're bringing to the table. And I'm so grateful for this. I am better for this conversation. And I'm looking forward to the next time that we meet. So in the meantime,
So are we.
be
As
well.
are we. Yes, as are we, for sure.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, until then, until next time, be well, be loved. Thank you for joining me on Pep Talks with Eric, where together we shift our focus, embrace connection, and drive towards a more fulfilling life. Remember, it's not just about where you're headed, but how you choose to travel along the way. As you continue your journey, know that you have the power to change lanes and focus on the path that leads to positivity, purpose, and connection. Let's stay connected and continue empowering your journey one commute at a time. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. And until then, be well, be loved.